the boy from the island. On a rugged island far from Europe's glittering stadiums, a skinny boy raced uphill with torn shoes and fire in his eyes. Madeira was not a place where dreams came true. It was where they were buried beneath poverty and forgotten names. But Cristiano Ronaldo didn't believe in fate. He was the youngest of four in a cramped home that leaned on prayers and his father's janitor job at the local football club. Meals were modest, emotions ran deep, and silence filled the spaces where opportunity never knocked. From morning to night, Ronaldo chased anything that moved. Plastic bottles, old balls, his own limits. He wasn't the fastest in school, but he refused to lose. When he did, he wept. His mother, Dolores, watched quietly, knowing her son's hunger wasn't just for food. "He's different," she whispered to herself as he practiced headers against concrete walls. "He wants more than this island." But the world didn't bend for dreams. At school, teachers called him distracted. At home, his father battled demons with alcohol. Still, Ronaldo trained on cobbled streets in pouring rain, barefoot if needed. When other children played, he pushed himself past exhaustion. He was only 10, but he trained like time was chasing him. 12, everything changed. A scout from Sporting Lisbon offered him a place in their academy. It meant leaving his home, his family, his island. It meant boarding a plane alone, never having flown before. On the night before he left, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, not afraid of failure, but of never being seen. Lisbon was cold, distant, unfamiliar. Kids mocked his accent, called him the island boy. He couldn't stop crying. Not because he missed home, because he wasn't the best anymore. That fear burned deeper than any pain. He trained harder, slept less, talked little, kicked more. He was still too skinny, too emotional, too raw. But he had something they didn't. A voice inside that said, "Don't stop." One evening, as other boys played games or watched TV, Ronaldo jogged alone under the stadium lights, counting each step like it was a beat of destiny. He wasn't born for greatness. Blood, sweat, and oxygen masks. Lisbon wasn't home, it was a battlefield. At the Sporting CP Academy, Cristiano Ronaldo was no longer the fastest or the most skilled. Surrounded by taller, smoother, and more polished players, he had one choice: become better or be forgotten. The coaches weren't gentle. "He's flashy," they said, "lacks discipline. He plays for himself." His accent drew mockery, his tears made him a target. But beneath the laughter, something was building. A will that would not crack. Ronaldo responded the only way he knew how: work. He trained when no one was watching. Did sprints with ankle weights. Practiced headers by launching balls at walls. Slept with a ball by his bed. While others sought comfort, he sought edge. He'd whisper to himself between drills, "You're not there yet. Keep going." By 15, his body had grown leaner, stronger. His speed turned heads. His shot cut through the wind. Yet just as he began to rise, something struck him down. His heart. It beat too fast. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Doctors called it arrhythmia, something that could stop his dream mid-sprint, maybe even his life. The diagnosis was a storm. Training stopped. Football paused. For the first time, Ronaldo was truly powerless. His mother, usually a pillar, broke down. "We can find something else for you," she said, hiding her trembling hands. But Cristiano didn't cry this time. He stared through her and said, "No, I was made for this." Surgery was scheduled. A laser would correct his heartbeat. A mistake could change everything. But fear never made decisions in Ronaldo's life, resolve did. Lying on the hospital bed, he clenched his fists, not in pain, but in promise. Hours later, he awoke. Alive, breathing, ready. He didn't take weeks to recover. He returned to training almost immediately, but something had changed. Not in his body, in his mind. The boy who once played to prove others wrong now played to prove something deeper. That even fate could be outworked. In the following months, Ronaldo turned obsession into a lifestyle. He timed his sprints, counted his meals, lifted weights at midnight. His body began to reflect his spirit, disciplined, precise, unstoppable. Coaches noticed. So did opponents. Whispers turned into warnings. That kid from Madeira? He's coming. Becoming a machine. England was colder, faster, and meaner. At 18, Cristiano Ronaldo arrived at Manchester United with flashy boots, gelled hair, and 1,000 critics ready to bury him before he even touched the pitch. They called him a show-off, a step-over merchant. Fans jeered. Defenders kicked. Teammates rolled their eyes. But one man watched differently, Sir Alex Ferguson. The legendary manager saw past the flair, past the mistakes. He saw obsession masked as arrogance. In Ronaldo's hunger, he recognized something rare. The will to be extraordinary. "Let the boy play," Ferguson said. "He'll show you." But Ronaldo wasn't handed greatness. In training, veterans bullied him. Roy Keane shouted. Gary Neville refused to pass. Rio Ferdinand laughed at his mirror routines. The locker room was war. To survive, he had to earn respect. And quickly. So Ronaldo stopped talking. He started lifting, training, studying. His routine turned militant. First to arrive, last to leave. He sprinted with weights, practiced free kicks until nightfall, banned sugar from his diet, swapped sleep for recovery sessions. While others lived like stars, Ronaldo lived like a monk. They noticed. His legs thickened. His lungs grew deeper. His touch sharpened. The boy became a blade. He no longer played to entertain, he played to conquer. One night against Arsenal, he was fouled hard. Again and again. Each time he rose faster, stronger, until he danced past defenders and buried a goal with a strike so precise, it silenced even the loudest doubters. In that moment, the crowd didn't see a teenager. They saw a problem no defender could solve. Critics who once mocked him began to admire him. Teammates who once doubted him now followed his lead. And Ferguson, he smiled. Now they believe. But for Ronaldo, belief wasn't the goal, domination was. He didn't chase fame. He chased the extra rep. The perfect shot. The millisecond edge. Every training session became war. Every match, a chance to prove that talent was just the beginning. And he was something far more terrifying. Self-made. Ending hook. While others waited for greatness to find them, he built himself brick by brutal brick, until there was no ceiling left to break. The man who outran fate. Cristiano Ronaldo no longer played to be seen. He had become the standard. From Manchester to Madrid, then to Turin, and back again. Each chapter added weight to a legacy he carved with sweat and solitude. Hundreds of goals. Dozens of trophies. 5 Ballon d'Ors. Records shattered, rebuilt, and shattered again. But behind every statistic was a man who never allowed comfort to become his teammate. At Real Madrid, the world saw the peak of his transformation. While fans adored the goals and celebrations, few saw the hours of preparation. Ice baths at midnight, sprints alone in the rain, meals weighed to the gram, every muscle sculpted for purpose, every breath calculated. He wasn't gifted longevity, he engineered it. As years passed, age threatened to dim his fire. Critics sharpened their knives. He's finished. Too old. Slower now. But they misunderstood him. Ronaldo didn't fear decline. He anticipated it. Adapted before it arrived. Changed his position, his movement, even his mentality. He turned time into just another opponent and beat it. In the 2016 Euro final, he didn't finish the match. Injured and crying on the sidelines, he became something more than a player. He became a leader. He coached from the touchline, roared with every tackle, and lifted the trophy as captain. Not for himself, but for a country that once ignored the boy from Madeira. For every goal, there was a sacrifice. For every win, a cost. He missed birthdays, lived under scrutiny, and carried a nation's weight on his shoulders. But he never cracked. He rose. Through rivalries, boos, betrayals, and personal storms, he kept running. Not from anything, but toward something only he could see. In a world that often crowns talent as destiny, Ronaldo stood as the ultimate contradiction. He wasn't the fastest as a boy, not the strongest, not the tallest, but he became the most relentless. And in the end, that was enough.